It started as a dream, a challenge, a test of skill, strategy, and endurance. From the very first match, through the grinding battles, the impossible comebacks, and the heartbreaks, each moment has led us here. A road paved with triumph and defeat, where only the strongest survived. They have fought through the gauntlet, proving themselves against the best, rising above the rest. Now only a few remain. The stage is set, the lights are on, and history is waiting to be written. This is the final battlefield. Welcome to the Parallel Prime Championship, where legends are made.
Hi guys, welcome to the Road to Prime Parallel Prime Championship interview, and I'm Excelsior We're going to be interviewing one of the fastest growing and fastest improving players over at Parallel TCG. Already have a bunch of titles to his name, but he is right here over at Parallel TCG. We have, of course, Tyler. Tyler, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Happy to be on your show. Yeah, that was a great intro.
Well, of course, great intro for a great player, but we're going to be having this interview to let the people know about you as a player. And of course, there are a lot of non-TCG players that we have over at the Web3 scene, and we want you to get known as part of the top 16 that will be going to Las Vegas over the HyperX Arena over at the Parallel Prime Championship. And the first question that we have here is, tell us your TLDR story as a competitive TCG player, and what is your team right now?
Okay, so my competitive background, it goes way back in the Hearthstone days. I'm sure most of you guys know what type of TCG Hearthstone is. Pretty popular card game, I'd say. But yeah, I started out as a streamer in Hearthstone. I'd say back in 2014, so that's a decade ago. I dabbled into my streaming career. And at that time, I still had a normal job, so I was just doing it casually, maybe once or twice a week. And then around 2016 is where I took a leap of faith, and I just started doing it full time, even though it wasn't bringing in enough money. I had enough money saved up to start streaming full time. And then over time, hey, streaming is cool, but there's this competitive itch that I have in me, I was the streamer that was known for always getting rank 1 in the game, always tryharding hard. So I figured, wait, why won't I just apply this into tournament gameplay also? If I can get rank 1 in a game, surely I can win some tournaments. So I would say around 2017, 18 is when I started taking competing really seriously. And at the time, I was with Complexity Gaming. That was my former team that I've been with for most of my Hearthstone career. And they supported it, so I started getting signed as both a streamer and competitive player. And they helped me with the finances to travel and whatnot. And I would say during those years, I managed to build a good name for myself. 2018, 19, I was the #1 player in the entire Asia Pacific region. I won 2 Asia championships. So I would say I have a good CV under my belt when it comes to competitive card gaming. But I never got that big win, and with big win, I mean the World Championships. And I think I'm a player of a caliber that can make it happen. I think I have the skills for it. And just need some good fortune as well now. But hey, we're coming in close to the Parallel Prime World Championships in Las Vegas. 16 players, and I think anything could happen. So I'm really craving for that biggest win where you can just say, now I can retire happily. I wouldn't say that I would retire after that, but just having that under your belt must be a nice feeling.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a nice feeling right there, man. Good intro, but because you've had 10 years, more than 10 years, I think, of TCG experience, and you mentioned it, man. Fortune favors the bold, and you have taken the leap of faith. A lot of us were already saying I have a job, and with that kind of leap of faith, it is already paying off because I can already feel the love, man. Feel the love for TCGs, and it's paying off because it's something you're passionate about, and it's a good feeling indeed. And I'm happy, man. Like, is Hearthstone the only TCG that you've had before, or do you have any experience with any other prior TCGs?
I mean, as a kid, I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but I never got to like a super high level. So as a kid, I ran into the problem of the game being too expensive. So I was
Yeah.
always like kind of home brewing, like free to play decks, and me and my friends would also just like print out cards and play with each other. And I always knew for myself that I had the potential to be very high level, but I unfortunately just couldn't afford it. So when Hearthstone came along and it was digital and I was an adult, it was like, well, this is my redemption arc. Now I can actually afford it. So that's why I was really passionate about it, because it was kind of like a dream I had as a kid that was unfulfilled in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So Hearthstone was like my redemption arc, but then now Parallel is my redemption arc from Hearthstone, because I felt like I still left something behind there.
Yeah, yeah. It's like is your before I go to the next question, is your inner child happy as of the moment?
Yes, very happy. I don't think my inner child would have expected me to even come this far.
Mm-hmm.
So just the fact that I'm here, I'm already very grateful. And anything, no matter what happens, anything that happens from here on, I'm satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's great, man. That's great to know. But of course, we want to know more about you and what is your largest achievement in Parallel TCG so far, with being the top 16 as the exception. So anything in your belt that you would be proud of in terms of Parallel TCG?
Yeah, so we've only had 1 year of competitive season so far, right? But I've gotten rank 1 on the leaderboard. So got that. But as for tournaments, I won a minor. So that was the Planetfall Clash. It was a $10,000 tournament. That was my first win, only win so far as well. But it just felt good to get that one win. Like you venture into a new game, and everyone. Also, of course, there's like some pressure as well as a former pro player from a different game coming in, right? So
Yeah.
everyone is expecting you to do well, and being able to back that up and actually winning a tournament like right at the start, that gave me a lot. I mean, I already had confidence, but it gave me a lot of confidence going forward as well, because of course it's a new game and you never know if you're gonna perform well or not. And there's also some variance involved, right? So I felt like that win for me took a lot of load off of my chest in a way that, hey, I've already proven myself and it can only get better from here.
Yeah.
And then and then after that we had the biggest LAN event that Parallel had so far, right? It was at the YGG Play Summit, where I met people like you and all the other great people from the community. And that one was especially like very special for me because like I took a leap of faith in Parallel. YGG Esports took a leap of faith in me by signing me, right? And that gave me a lot of options and a lot of freedom to pursue this career as well. So me being able to fully focus on just bringing my A game and being really good at the game is all thanks to YGG Esports. So when they were hosting this event, of course I want to do well in that one as well. So we did offline qualifiers first, right? And even that, it's not easy to qualify. So even qualifying for the top 16 LAN event there, I was already really happy with that.
Yeah.
But I think at the event, I was able to show my experience, my stage experience, because I think that matters a lot for LAN events as well, whether you crack under pressure or not. And I finished 4th place there, and I think it was a good showcase of my abilities to perform under pressure, because LAN event pressure is so much different than online gameplay. And I can't really describe it until you have experienced it yourself. Like, I can't really describe it, but I remember the first time I played in a big tournament in Hearthstone. I was so nervous. I felt it everywhere. I felt it in my chest. I felt it in my belly. I was like, I was nervous because I wanted to perform, right? And the turn timer, 1 minute felt like, sometimes I had a turn where 1 minute felt like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, where I'm like, oh wait, I spent that entire turn thinking and I still don't know what the play is. And it happens to the best of us. So I feel like I have that advantage, and I feel like I've proven that at the YGG LAN event that I can perform under pressure. Because I think I played really well that event, and 4th place is a great result. So moving forward, I have 2 events that I'm just really proud of, and and which gave me a huge confidence boost.
Yeah.
So moving forward for the Parallel Prime Championships, I think I'm ready, man. I think I'm ready.
Dude, like I feel you, man. I feel you because you were talking about a while ago, like the difference. It's a different monster in an IRL event versus a competitive online event. You in a competitive online event, you are in your safe space. You are there in your chair, like in your. It's a very very familiar environment, and like having that experience in the live event is really a good way for you to hone your IRL LAN experience or IRL LAN mastery, because you just said it a while ago, like there's this a different feeling. You feel nervous all throughout your body, and like kind of time stops. And one problem that I heard from some of the players, I'm not. They're saying like this, quote unquote, I'm not used to hearing this white noise. What is this? So yeah. Anyway, it's amazing to hear that from you. And you mentioned you're ready for the Parallel Prime Championship. Like, how have you been preparing for the Parallel Prime Championship?
So when it comes to gameplay, I feel like I've already mastered the meta. I feel like I can pilot all the decks to my best abilities. So at this point, I've had thousands of hours in the game, right? I think I've clocked in over 2,000 hours of Parallel in the past year. So with 9 days left, I don't think that playing a lot of games is going to help me much more, but I think the preparation comes more from a mental space, physical as well. Like we're going to have to fly to Las Vegas, other side of the world. We're going to be jet lagged. So like for me, the preparation is physically and mentally. So
Yeah.
so I try to work out. I try to eat healthy. I try to sleep well. I try to prepare myself as much as possible so I can deal with the jet lag. So that once I'm there, I'm feeling great. And then mentally, like just trying to be grateful for what I have and trying to be content with what I already have. Like no matter what happens. Is for me the best way to prepare, because I just need to make sure that when I'm sitting there, I can just bring my A game and just focus on the best possible gameplay. I don't need any negative thoughts distracting me.
Yeah.
And I feel like the psychological part, it's so important that psychologically you're in a good headspace
Yeah.
going into this.
Yeah, like psychological preparedness, mental preparedness, physical preparedness. Like it seems like you're getting like a kind of a pro vibes, so to speak. You wouldn't be in the scene if you're not a pro though. Like it has to be holistic. I know your captain, DC. I asked him at one of the tournaments, like, how do you prepare your players? Like he was a captain for Axie back then. Like I was said, does there have to be like a physical preparation aside from the mental preparation? Yeah. He said like should be a balance between the two, and hearing it from you and from your blogs as well. Paddle, like getting the whole team into paddle, into going to gym and playing as a team as well. Good preparation right there, and yeah, we hope to get more of your content for that, Tyler. Yeah, and man, next question. Okay, this is gonna be personal, right? Because I know you know some of the top 16 players, and are there any specific matchups or players you're particularly excited about or nervous about facing?
Look, honestly, I respect everyone as a player. I know they're all amazing players, but I fear no one, because like at the end of the day, look, maybe someone is slightly better than someone else, but like the edge is so marginal, right? That I really think it depends on one. There has to be some luck factor. Like someone is going to be more lucky than someone else. But then is that person going to be able to use that luck by playing well, right?
Yeah.
Or are they going to crack under the pressure? And it's the World Championship, so it's a completely different beast. You cannot predict who's going to crack under the pressure or not. But I think some will, some may not. I will have to say that there's a lot of former pro Hearthstone players who have the same stage experience like I have, right?
Yeah.
Last time I counted, it was 7 players. Let me
Yeah,
see if I can
7.
name them. So my teammate Fino, me included, Sequinox, Lambi Series, and then we have Jarla. who's runner-up at a World Championships in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Viper, who's a runner-up at a World Championships. And then we have Thijs, who is top 4 at the World Championships and
Yeah.
2-time European champion.
Yeah.
So we have some heavy hitters who are used to the big stage, right?
Yeah.
It's no joke. So, honestly, all of them could take it. But no one can predict the future. So we'll see. We'll have to see,
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. Like, you're not afraid of anyone, but of course, you respect the presence of your fellow pro TCG players. And there's a lot of you, and even some of the new ones. Like, I'm looking at their CVs, I'm looking at their history. I'm not getting a lot, but I feel that they're gonna be saying the same thing because they already went in a lot of hours, a lot of different tournaments to get to this place, and respecting each other and not underestimating each other is like a part of the play or part of the conditioning as well. So yeah, good answer on there, man. Like yeah, 7
And
out of
I
16
don't wanna-
Hearthstone players, man. That's amazing. Yeah,
I don't want to underestimate the other guys either, that
Yeah.
don't come from a professional TCG background because like they've gotten up to this point. It means they're no slouch either, right?
Yeah.
So I think I have to respect everyone, but fear no one. That's my mindset going into it.
Great. And talking about challenges, man. Like there have probably been some challenges getting to this event. What has been your biggest challenge leading up to this event, and how have you overcome it?
Look, I would say like this first year was pretty light. At the start of the year, I would just joke about it a lot on Twitter that this year's kind of free. I would joke about it a lot because at the start of the year there weren't that many like former pros getting into it. Like people like Jarla and Viper, they and Thijs even, they started late.
Yeah.
They started like 2 or 3 months late. So to me, the competition felt pretty light at the start.
Yeah.
And it was easy to get points at the time. Like points on ladder was easy. In-game tournament points was easy, and even like the tournaments were a little bit lighter, I would say, and it got harder over time.
Yeah.
So I think this year I was fortunate that I started it early from
Yeah.
month 1. So for me, it was fairly easy to collect enough points to get into the final knockout stage. And then I would say the knockout stage was very nerve-wracking because we had 32 players with enough
Yeah.
points fighting for 16 spots, right? And we've seen like huge names not making it. Like
Yeah.
for me, the one that stands out the most is Manos, right?
Yeah.
Manos, who's been top of the game entire year, rank 1 on ladder, like so many months, like
Yeah.
won so many tournaments, and then to get knocked out there means that anything could happen. Like the quality of play is very high in parallel right now.
Yeah.
So, like leading up to that knockout stage, I was definitely nervous. I was
Yeah.
definitely like scared I would
Yeah.
not make it
Yeah.
because I know that that's a possibility. Just look at Manos, right? It is a
Yeah.
possibility that I wouldn't make it. So, but it's also because like I put so much pressure on myself to perform, right? That it's giving me nerves, but I think it's healthy nerves because on the day off I managed to perform, managed to play well. So yeah, definitely that week leading up to that, it was a bit nerve-wracking, but I made it through, and now we move on and focus on the next step.
Yeah, it was a very, very challenging indeed. Like very, very challenging knockout stage. Like 4 groups, 8 players. The pods were randomized. We were able to randomize it. Like, and it was I've seen some names just if you have like a lot of champions or a lot of big hitters over at a certain spot, like there's bound to be some of the big hitters that fall off. And Leman, I'm gonna call him Lemanos, like Leman. Leman's
Yeah.
Lemanos. I was expecting him to get to the top 4, but it's unfortunate. But he's still going there. And with respect to Manos, I'm gonna be shaving my my mustache because there can be only one that has the glorious mustache in the event. But it's a challenge indeed. But I'm happy that you've overcome it and can continue overcoming it in the future. And this is one question that I feel you've ruminated for
Yeah.
some days, right? Imagine the thought of you winning the championship. What would this championship mean to you and your competitive journey?
I wouldn't retire. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I feel like I've been manifesting this for the entire year. You know, I've been joking about it. I've been joking about being the future parallel world champion, and the fact that we are this close now is very exciting to me. And you know, like until we know the results, I will be living in the timeline where I am actually become the world champion. Because like I think like if you stop believing, you've already given up, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm right now I'm believing that I can absolutely do it, and it's a very good possibility that I become the world champion. And like I told you before, it's kind of feeling like I did I'm coming to do an unfinished job, you know. I feel like in Hearthstone, I haven't gotten enough out of
Yeah.
it. Even though I've had some good accomplishments there, I was always in the top of the world. Um, yeah, I just wanted that one really big title. I just don't have that under my belt yet. So it would really mean that all this time I've put into competitive TCGs, you know, the past decade, finally paid off in a way. Yeah.
Man, that hit right in the feels, man. Like you want to make up for something that you did not achieve over at the previous game that you were playing. Like
Yeah.
it's commendable. Like you keep on going. You're already at that kind of mindset, and I'm happy for you, man. Like and hope to see you in Las Vegas, and hopefully you're not jet lagged, or we can overcome the jet lag. I'll overcome the jet lag with you because we're in the same time zone right now. But you know, with that, guys, we're at the last question, but I would like to I would like to thank Tyler for giving his time for this interview, the Road to Prime for the Parallel Prime Championship. But before we go, any last words or any words of encouragement for players who want to play Parallel TCG or who want to become competitive players for Parallel TCG?
Yeah, I mean, this game is great, man. Like, so many lives have been changed already, right? And we're just in our first competitive year, and I've been telling all my peers that are playing different card games that this community is the greatest, right? And
Yeah.
and you just have to try it for yourself to see. And so far, anyone that I've gotten in or influenced to gotten in has not been disappointed, right? Everyone who loves competing in card games has been enjoying competing in parallel. Like the
Yeah.
community is great, the founders are great, everything is managed well, and we're a growing community. Like the scene is growing.
Yeah.
There's already been an announcement that next year, so after this World Championship, starting March, the prize pool is being doubled, and the year after, it's being doubled
Doubled
again.
Yeah.
So I would say like, don't freaking miss out. Like now is literally the time. After this World Championships, that's when you want to be playing parallel. Otherwise, you're just missing out again for an entire year. So, yeah. You can take my word for it. You can choose to ignore it. That's up to you. But all I can say is like, no one has regretted it so far.
Yep. Indeed. Like, there's no time to start than now. There's no other time to start than now. You're still early, guys. And you've heard it from our interviewee right here and top 16 contender, Tyler. And with that, guys, we're going to be seeing you over at the HyperX Arena, over at the Luxor, over at Las Vegas. If you're there, just pass by. But if you're not, we're going to be catching you over at the socials. You'll be watching them, the streams over at Twitch and over at the other channels as well. Just make sure to tick it over at your calendars and watch out for any announcements. And with that, we have to thank you, Tyler, for giving us your time again for the Road to Prime, the Parallel Prime Championship interview. See you at the Parallel Prime Championship. Bye, guys.